In the ancient world, long before scientific explanations existed, human life unfolded within a
Across early human societies, natural events such as storms, illness, and sudden death were often understood as signs. To respond to this uncertainty, communities developed rituals, structured actions performed with intention and repeated across generations.
These rituals were not random acts of belief, but carefully ordered practices designed to restore balance within both nature and society.
Across distant cultures, rituals became the language through which people confronted death.
In ancient Egypt, rituals formed the foundation of spiritual life, guiding both the living and the dead. Greek societies developed ritual practices that connected communities with their gods, reinforcing the belief that divine forces shaped human destiny. In early Vedic India, fire rituals were performed to maintain harmony between human life and the cosmic order believed to govern existence.
Roman households practiced rituals intended to honor ancestral spirits and protect the living from unseen influences.
Across Northern Europe, burial rituals reflected a belief that death was not an end, but a transition into another form of existence. Across these civilizations, rituals emerged not as isolated practices, but as structured systems shaped by shared human concerns. Events such as eclipses, droughts, and sudden illness were rarely seen as random, but as meaningful disruptions requiring response. Rituals allowed communities to act together, creating a shared framework for understanding events beyond their control.
Through repetition, these practices became embedded within cultural memory, passed from one generation to the next.
Each ritual followed a defined structure, where timing, sequence, and precision were considered essential to its purpose. Rituals allowed communities to act together, creating a shared framework for understanding events beyond their control.
Spirituality is what?
Each movement, object, and spoken word within a ritual carried symbolic meaning, understood within its cultural context. Through what remains of these rituals today exists in fragments, preserved through texts, carvings, and material evidence. Archaeologists and historians study these fragments to reconstruct how rituals were performed in their original context. Ancient railings often describe the sequence of actions required, revealing the structure behind each ceremonial practice. Objects used in rituals provide insight into their function, reflecting the beliefs and priorities of the societies that created them. From these sources, patterns emerge that reveal how different civilizations approached the unseen aspects of existence. Rituals were not isolated acts, but part of broader systems that governed how societies understood the world. Within these systems, rituals provided a way to assign meaning to events that could not be easily explained.
By repeating the same actions over time, communities created a sense of stability within changing conditions.
Actions within rituals often carried symbolic value, representing ideas that extended beyond the physical act itself. In this way, rituals became a fundamental part of how societies organized their understanding of reality. Within ancient societies, rituals often reinforced social structures and defined roles within the community. Many rituals were performed within temples, shrines, or designated sacred spaces believed to connect the human and divine worlds.
Certain individuals were trained to perform rituals correctly, preserving knowledge that required discipline and precision.
Large ceremonies often brought entire communities together, strengthening shared identity through collective participation.
Through teaching and repetition, ritual knowledge passed from one generation to the next, maintaining continuity over centuries.
Many rituals were based on the belief that balance existed between opposing forces within the world. Life and death, order and chaos, presence and absence were seen as interconnected states rather than separate conditions. Rituals provided a way to navigate these opposing forces without eliminating uncertainty itself. By performing structured actions, individuals could respond to uncertainty in a controlled and meaningful way.
Through consistent practice, Rituals created a sense of stability in environments defined by constant change.
Some rituals were performed in private, within restricted spaces where only trained individuals were permitted to enter. Other rituals unfolded in public settings, where entire communities participated in shared ceremonial events.
The scale of a ritual often reflected its perceived importance within the society that performed it.
Despite differences in form, the purpose of rituals remained consistent across cultures and time periods. They were all designed to respond to forces believed to exist beyond direct human perception. From a modern perspective, these rituals may appear unfamiliar, yet they followed internal logic within their original context.
They were shaped through observation, repetition, and the gradual refinement of cultural understanding over time.
As societies evolved, rituals adapted, but their core structure and purpose remained remarkably stable.
These practices allowed individuals to engage with a reality that could not be fully explained through direct experience.
Through ritual, communities created meaning within events that might otherwise seem random or unpredictable.
See this entry right here. This is when our family first arrived in this city, looking for a better life.
We stand together, strong and resolute, dedicated to our shared future.
In many cultures, maintaining ritual practice was considered essential to the stability of the entire community.
Rather than ignoring uncertainty, rituals allowed societies to respond to it in structured and meaningful ways. Through repeated actions, ancient people attempted to create order within a world that often appeared unpredictable. Rituals allowed ancient people to engage directly with forces they believed existed beyond ordinary perception.
In a world without modern explanation, these practices offered a way to act within uncertainty rather than remain passive.
By repeating these actions, societies created continuity across time, despite constant change. Rituals provided a structured response to events that could not be controlled or predicted.
In this way, rituals became a method of creating meaning within an unpredictable and often uncertain reality. This series does not attempt to recreate the past as spectacle, but to observe what has been recorded.
Each ritual is presented through available evidence, without exaggeration or the need to impose meaning beyond its context.
Every episode focuses on a specific time, place, and ritual practice within its original cultural framework.
These practices are shown as they were performed, based on records rather than modern reinterpretation.
The intention is not to persuade, but to present and allow understanding to emerge through observation. These rituals do not require belief to exist, as they remain preserved through historical records and material evidence.
They stand as evidence of how societies organized their understanding of forces beyond direct observation.
Through ritual, ancient people gave structure to their perceptions of life, death, and the unknown.
Across different cultures, similar patterns emerge, revealing shared human responses to uncertainty.
These patterns reflect a consistent impulse to respond actively, rather than remain passive in the face of the unknown.
Across time and geography, human beings have sought ways to confront what cannot be seen. They developed systems that allowed them to act within uncertainty and assign meaning to their experiences.
These systems were preserved through repetition, becoming part of the identity of entire civilizations.
By examining these records, we gain insight into how ancient societies understood their world.
Forgotten rituals remain not as mysteries, but as enduring records of how humanity once faced the unseen.